good, y'all, and welcome to my review for this episode of My Hero Academia Season 7, man. And man, what an episode this one. The Monoma had a big showing this episode, man. And honestly, I cannot wait to hear Austin Tyndall's version of the scene when the dub gets here, man. I don't know if I'll do a double reaction to this episode, just because it wasn't that major. I think I might just watch the episode on my own time. Whenever it does drop, I'll watch it. Just to see how Austin sounds. But like, yeah, I don't think I'll do a double reaction, but I'm like very excited to see what Austin does. Because man, Monoma Seiyu was just going up. Man was having Monoma specifically what's happened in the time of his life, man. You guys know how Monoma is. He has the most one-sided beef with Class A ever, man. Like, this is some of the most one-sided beef I've ever seen, man. This dude takes any moment to be like, oh, look at you, Class 1A, you must all be wallowing in shame. And like, man is going, anytime he can make fun or act like he is superior to Class A, he takes him in. And now the one time where he actually is important and is kind of the main character for once, this man is just having the time of his life. Like, he is just soaking it all in, man. And you know what? Good for him, man. I love Monoma. It's good that he got his time in the spotlight, man. Now go back to the side characters with you. Now go back with the rest of you with your Class B scrubs. Which I do wonder what's going on with Shinso, because we never got what his class ended up being. I'm assuming it's Class B. But you know, we'll have to wait and see on that. If it ends up being, he might join Class A, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna end up joining Class B. But yeah, man, Shinso's costume looks incredible, by the way. But anyway, man, this episode's been phenomenal. A lot of really good, fantastic animation in this episode. There was some return of the still frames, which I actually already saw a tweet of someone complaining about that. But with an episode that was as well animated as this one was, and storyboard as well as was, except for one part which we'll have to talk about in a minute, where I will say, yeah, that was a feeling like the storyboard artist or the episode director or whoever with that shot, the Todoroki thing with Dabi, that you guys know a lot of people were complaining about when the PV for this came out. We'll talk more about that once we get to that part of the episode. But the rest of the episode, man, looks fantastic, so I don't really mind them like cutting some corners with using some still frames here, but the rest of the episode looked as fantastic as it did from a pure animation standpoint. But anyway, guys, enough of me rambling. Let's just jump right into the actual episode. Also, one other thing, guys, before we jump right into the actual episode. Once again, the next episode title is in English again, Inflation. I guess that's the thing with this season now. It's that all the title cards are going to be in English for the episode, or the episode names are going to be in English now. I don't know. Maybe they'll go back to Japanese, but so far they've been all in English for like what? 3 episodes now, I think, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so we start the episode off right where we're back with All Might rushing into Class A, throwing Kaminari halfway across the room. Saying, I am here like I am every day. You guys remember my review last week? I mentioned, All Might must have been really hurt by what Mina told him, like back in season 6, that you're barely here, or that when you're here, you just leave. So anyway, he's there. He basically tells them, like, once again, that you reuse the footage, saying that, hey, we're here to talk about, the next plan, to talk about, our plan of attack to going up against the League of Villains. He mentioned that pro heroes are searching high and low for all over one, but of course, it's not really been going out like that. Kaminari says, damn, Bako said something like that, and then Sato says, but you hear it laid out like that. So yeah, they are just completely deflated. All Might says that they're going to use Ayazawa's plan, and in order to draw out a cunning coward, which I like that he said that, a cunning coward, we need to soften his heart. I didn't even know All for One had a heart. But hey, you learn something new every day. And we're gonna get to see Bako, which I will say, I don't like this look with this one where he like has his mask up. You guys remember in season 5, he would always have his mask downward during the joint training guard, man. He would always have his mask down. I always loved the look of it, where he had like his mask down and his like, I don't know what those orange pointy things are, which just hang out on the bottom, man. I always like the look of that, man. I don't like that he like puts it up now. Keep it down, bro. Everything down. Put it all down. It looks way better that way. And then Bakugo says, so pretend like we've searched desperately but still can't find him. What the hell, scum? Which cracked me up, which got me to chuckle. I thought that was pretty funny. And they're working under the assumption that search is still working, so they're going to assume that All for One is very keenly aware of their movement, and it's just going to act like all their plans, like that everything they've done since Izuku's return has resulted in nothing but frustration and exhaustion. and that we can't help but make him think that we're making just one bad move after another to make him feel good, thinking that everything is going according to his plan. It's like Drake's plan, but this time it actually works and actually makes sense. Y'all remember that shit in his last dish where he's like, yes, I am the one that fed you that information that I was a pedophile. I'm like, bro, you want people to think you're a pedophile? Bro, like, what do you gain from that? Bro, you're not Eisen. Anyway, they continue. So the detective continues on saying that they'll use Aizawa's plan and use the informant Aoyama. And then Izuku's like tears and says then Aoyama is, and then All Might just nods. I'm like, what do you mean like that? Is he like clean? Is he not going to get charged? Is he not getting put to death? What the fuck does that mean? I don't know if Japan has a death penalty or not, but I guess he's clean. He's not going to get expelled or thrown in jail or anything, man. They're going to let him to keep him around UA. So everyone's celebrating this and everyone's glad that he is back. And then Momo mentions what Aoyama's father mentioned about, hey, if we lie, we get killed. And says, isn't there still some danger to Aoyama and his family? And so All Might can do the thing that All for One, only contacts them through voice call. And he has likely other much friends, so he doesn't scrutinize everything that they say carefully before acting. Yeah, because his body does that for him with his lying quirk, which, bro, I need to know how that lying quirk works. Can we get a present like, All for One, his quirk, bullshit detector, or something like that, man? I need to know how the fuck that shit works, man. But anyway, man, All Might continues on saying that we will use him, with him being in all caps. We get some really nice character acting, man. Like I said before, at the start of this video, man, the character acting in this episode was really good, man. There was a lot of great character acting, just great animation throughout the entire episode. Like I said, they did use some still frames here and there throughout the episode, man. But like I said, with how well animated this episode was, I don't mind. I don't think you should really be like getting on Bones' ass for cutting some corners for a couple of scenes, man. With how great the animation was in this episode. So after he does this little snap thing, we open the door revealing Shinso in his new hero costume, man, which we obviously saw a couple episodes ago, man. But this is the first time we get a really good look at it, man. And Shinso's hero costume, man, looks fucking awesome, man. I love the look of this thing, man. Man, it's styled in profile, man, and it's just amazing. So then we find out that actually Sue mentions, hey, I thought you couldn't make people talk or make them think because of how your quirk works. And then Shinso says that he's been training and now he can actually make people he brainwashes talk and think. So they're going to use him so he's going to brainwash Aoyama and his parents to make the phone call with All for One so that thereby his will isn't getting in there, nor will their will or their feelings get in there, so All for One's bullshit detector will not go off. So yeah, and of course everyone is excited for Shinso. Like, oh, which class are you joining, man? Is it Class A? Is it Class B? Judging from the fact he said I would be joining the hero course in April and competing against you guys, I'm assuming that means that he would have been moving to Class B, but maybe he would have still went to Class A. I do find it bizarre, man. Like, why can't they move him? Like, I know you guys are in the middle of a war, so I guess it's more of like we can't resume classes. So, but like, can't you move them up anyway? Just like, you're all second years now, but we're not doing classes until all this shit is over with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they're still considered first years at this point. But regardless of such. Also, speaking of Shinso's hero costume, Horikoshi Sensei, as you guys know, he typically releases a sketch to tie in with each episode that airs. He dropped another one, man, with Aoyama and Monoma, and bro, no lie, that sketch goes unnecessarily hard, man. I think out of all the Horikoshi sketches he's done for the anime episodes, this one might be my favorite, no lie. If I remember, I'll put it up on screen for you guys so you guys can see it, man, but like, this might be my favorite sketch of his that he's done for the Hero Aka anime, man. It has no business going as hard as it does. Anyway, Principal Nezu says that Shinso still isn't his hero license yet, or provisional license, excuse me. But since they were in emergency, they were able to get an exception from the acting chairman. And then Tokoyami mentions like, hey, we're all in there at one place, you know. Wouldn't that just kind of give us away? And then All Might says, we've accounted for that. That if this is all a part of our plan, we don't need to be there. That's when we cut over back to, where are we, the hospital? I forget where exactly we're at, where they keep a Kurgan. It might be Tartarus. I think Tartarus just got shut down or whatever, but whatever. Or it might be the hospital, whatever. Wherever they're at where Kurogiri is being held up. Whatever it is. So we're there with Aoyama, with Aizawa, the Class B homeroom teacher, and of course with Monoma. This is when they're mentioned that that this is a critical job and that he needs to be the one to also copy Kurogiri's power to be able to use it. He mentions that they bear that Aizawa or whoever mentioned they only had a few days to copy this and learn how to use it. And then Aizawa mentions that he's lost one eye and that his erasures bear the one, which you guys know. I have mentioned this in previous reviews. When the fuck did Aizawa lose an eye? So when I saw this again in this episode, afterwards, I went to look for myself, like, was there somewhere I missed? Am I just getting weirdly forgetful about him losing an eye? So I looked through season 6, I looked through a couple episodes of season 6, couldn't find anything, then I googled it, which led me to a Reddit post on the Hiroaka subreddit, where someone more or less mentioned it was when Shigaraki was clawing at his face, he gouged his eye out there. Which you don't really get to see it either in the end, and I guess the manga as well didn't really show it since it wasn't like a censorship thing. But you do kind of see it indirectly where you guys were after he claws at his face, you see one of his eyes closed, which is obviously the eye that he lost. Some people think it was due to an infection, that's how he lost it, or that Shigaraki just straight up clawed it out when he was clawing at his face. So that's how he lost his eye. It was from Shigaraki. So now that mystery is finally solved. And my mention for his erasure isn't really working anymore, which I'm assuming is because he lost an eye. That mean that it's severely weakened to where it was before because it only has one eye left rather than two. So I'm assuming that's where that's coming from, and which makes it it's like with Overhaul. He can't use his quirk anymore because of course he lost his arm, so he can't use his quirk anymore as well. And then Monoma mentioned that his quirk, that people would say he would never be a hero with his quirk, that it was the quirk of a side character, which I don't really get. A quirk that can literally the main villain of the series is a dude that can copy quirks. So I'd say it's kind of an OP and very powerful ability to have an ability where you can copy quirks. I don't know why people were thinking that we're calling Monoma a side character or that it was the quirk of a side character. Makes no goddamn sense to me. But I don't know. You guys, tell me what you guys think of this in the comment section down below. So then we kind of see their plan put in attack. We see Aoyama make the phone call and looks over to Shinso and he gives him a double thumbs up, which was kind of awesome, man. This is a little wholesome thing. And so then we see more of the pro heroes, including our girl Mirko, which, oh my god, she had a great show in this episode, man. I cannot wait to hear Inaris dub this, man. I'm sure she is chomping at the bit to get back in the booth to voice Mirko, man, so I'm sure she's super excited to come back to this as well. I haven't checked her Twitter to see if she said anything about this yet. I probably should have before I started recording, but I'm sure she's super excited to record. I'm sure she's eagerly waiting that phone call from microphone hey yo, Daris, it's time, girl, it's time for Mirko. I'm sure she's eagerly awaiting that call. Already has her booth set, or maybe she's gonna fly out to Texas for this. I don't fucking know, or maybe she'll be in Texas out of commerce. I don't know. Regardless, she's excited. Anyway, I'm just rambling. Anyway, and we hear some voiceover from, I believe, the Class B homeroom teacher saying there are no side characters here up until now, and from now on, you're the star. So this is when, of course, he starts laughing hysterically, being like, I'm pulling the string. Like I said, given the time where he is yes, I am the protagonist for once, man is just soaking it all in. And so all the pro heroes start charging at, of course, all the villains. Dabi comes rushing towards Toto, in there, Shigaraki tries to tell something, and Dabi just tells him, don't tell me what to do, leader. He's charging right towards Endeavor. He says, I didn't think I'd see you so soon, Dad. But first, a funeral for your friends. But of course, his flames are stopped by Todoroki's ice. And we're off to the races, and they all start as everyone starts coming to the portals, charge toward the villains, and they activate Operation Troy, locking everyone in a bunch of these containers, and then using these jets to push them away, along with the pros to push them away as well to get them through the other portals, so that they all can get separated. Of course, this doesn't really hold them back for very long. Most of them are able to break through them. We also get Shinso and Monoma's two character renders, which both of them look fantastic. Especially Shinso's, man. Like I said, I love his hero costume, man. It looks so good. But anyway, most of them were able to break through them, but they were able to get stopped. And with Dabi saying, I'll break through this in 3 seconds, and Todoroki tells them that 3 seconds was all we wanted. So they block them off, they cut them off the edges, and keep pushing more and more to get him through the gates. And actually, while the pros are pushing the criminals into the Kurogiri portals, one of them asks one of the heroes, "How much money did you waste just doing this, you money worshippers?" was cracking me up, man. I thought that was pretty funny. So they eventually managed to get them all in there. Izuku's about to land probably the final punch to really make sure they get into the portal that has Shigaraki in it. But right at the last second, he is pulled away into another portal by something. We eventually find out that it's Toga, which I have to say, like, how fast is that woman? Because, like, we don't really get, I don't think we actually saw in the episode when Toga's barrier was pushed in. We just see Uraraka and Sue just pushing it. We don't actually see it going into the, actually I'm looking at a wide shot right now just to see, yeah, I don't think you actually do get to see when it actually goes fully into the portal, so we don't really have a time stamp on like when all of this took place. But damn, that woman works fast, man. It must have been like the second they landed, she got out there must have been like a portal still open and she just threw her thing in there to get Izuku. I don't even know if she knew it was gonna lead to Izuku or whatnot, man, but you know, I'm sure you could probably poke some holes into that, but like, you know, whatever. But yeah, Izuku is taken away into the portal, separated from the rest of the crew for Shigaraki. So then All Might tells Falcon to take care of the rest of the stragglers there and to take care of Aoyama. And then he pats him on the back saying, well, we will defeat you here. Nice bluff. And then Aoyama's like, messy. And then Monoma is told by Alma to return to Ayazawa. So then they move on to phase 2, where we actually get to the actual battles taking place. And I thought it was interesting that for All For One, they took him back to Gunga, if I'm pronouncing it right, Gunga Villas, which is where the Paranormal Liberation Front base of operation was, you guys know, where they were eating the sushi and everything, man. And I like this really cool shot where when All For One gets there, he's looking over the description. They have this shot of what the place used to look like before season 6, and then fades out to what it looks like currently, you know, destroyed and like it's all nothing but left but rubble. I thought that was a really nice shot. Like I said, the storyboarding for this episode was really, really strong, man. There was a lot of great storyboarding in this episode. So Hawks tried to take him down with his like wings, with his like feather blade things. I don't know if they actually have it officially, but of course they don't do shit. They don't cut through him. And Hawks mentions like, I guess he wouldn't be coming here with something that I could cut through. And Derek tells him, don't worry, man, I didn't think you would anyway. So then Endeavor goes on about that he knows that the sludge thing that he's been using to get some of the League out there is a weaker version of Kodogiri's portals. And then All For One continues on saying, like, even if you split up your forces because you're lone heroes, you are a cruel man, Endeavor. And then it mentions like, oh, did you put All For One against against Shigaraki? That is a very high risk. And then of course he mentions Dabi and Todoroki as the cruelest matchup of all, his youngest skin as he continually tortures his eldest man. Which, man, I am so excited for this fight, man. Whenever we get some episodes focused on Dabi and Shigaraki, or Dabi and Todoroki, because you guys know, one of the best parts of Hiroaka in its second half has been the Todoroki family. So I'm super excited to see what Horikoshi Sensei has in store for this fight. Now, let's get into the thing that everyone's complaining about. You guys remember that there was a shot in the PV of Shigaraki, I'm gonna keep saying Shigaraki, of Dabi and Todoroki, you know, facing off against each other, and a lot of people comparing that didn't look like the manga, which you guys know, I fucking hate when quote unquote fans, have been like bitching about the manga panels and comparing it to the manga, because most of the time they are bitching about literally nothing. Either it's because there isn't as much detailing in there, it's censorship, which isn't even in Bones' control, or it's literally nothing. It's literally the exact same fucking shot. And like, oh my god, it's ruined! And I'm like, it's literally the exact same fucking shot. Like, I remember when season 7 just started, I saw a bunch of tweets of people bitching about that shot with Shigaraki's hand as he overlooks to the rest of Star's crew. It was literally the exact same fucking shot, just with added clouds. It's like, bro, you people are fucking something. But this is like the one time where they actually had a boat where they actually had a legitimate grievance. Because yeah, the manga panel of this, man, goes hard, man. I love the downward Dutch angle that Horikoshi Sensei went with that. It looked with, of course, All Might statue overlooking the man. It's beautiful. It's probably one of my favorite manga, you know, pages, panels, whatever you want to call it, of the series, man. It is gorgeous. I love it. And in the end, it's a standard kind of like slight Dutch angle with them kind of just staring each other down with All Might in the background. It doesn't look as good. Now, I remember when this happened, some people were making like fan edits. Like I remember Icarus or JVA, as some of you guys may know him on Twitter. He made a slight edit because he does like these Hiroaka animations on his like YouTube channel, whatever. He made a slight version. I made my own version of it because I thought, oh, what if they did something where they like went with Todoroki's foot first and then pull back to the actual shot, And I remember, and I never tweeted about this, or I don't think I ever mentioned it in any videos, because this was after I reacted to the PV, that I wondered if like maybe they were just holding that shot up out of the trailers, and they were just showing the shot right after it, and they were just going to keep it out of trust. They didn't want to put all the cool shit in the trailers. Of course, we know that wasn't the case, and this is indeed the same shot. There was no shot of it before, and then went to the shot, man. The shot is not here. Now, who knows? Maybe once we get to an episode that does fully focus on them, or they get like the first half of the episode or whatever. Whenever we can start to really get started on this fight, that's when they might put the shot back in there, man. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, this is like the one time where people where the manga readers actually have a grievance when they were bitching about manga panels not looking the same as they do in the anime. And yeah, like I said, storyboarding for this episode was fantastic, but this was definitely the one blunder for it, man. I do wish they were able to fit that manga panel shot in the anime, man, because it looked so good. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick because I saw some people bitching about that on Twitter, that the shot wasn't even in the episode, and I thought like, yeah, this is the one time you guys actually have a legitimate grievance for once. But anyway, we get to Shigaraki. Everyone's in there, man. We are now in the coffin in the sky, which is what it's called, which I feel like it's probably a Castle in the Sky reference to the Ghibli film. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, man. I'm pretty sure it is. It's kind of a fucked up reference, but pretty cool. Then of course everyone get there, man. We find out that Izuku's taken over by Toga, and he's there with Uraraka and Stu. As like I said, I'm looking forward to this fight. Just consider what Izuku's gonna be doing during this fight, and whenever we get to the solo Uraraka and Toga fight, man, that is going to be absolutely legendary whenever we get that part in the ending. So Bakugo tells everyone that Izuku isn't there, and like they're worried, and like, hey, what's how we can't fight what we did before. Miracle, man, she don't give a damn. She's like, let's get started, man. I'm ready to throw down, and then we're fine there. There's also some like weird dimming this episode with the Shigaraki fight. Like there's a couple parts where like nothing really happens, yet it's dimmed for some reason. I don't know why they're dimming it, man. Like there were like this was the same thing with season 6. I remember with that shot with Izuku. He was getting out of the smoke screen. Like they were dimming, which it wasn't dimmed in the trailer because it was on YouTube. But on the episode, that part with dim when he was coming out there, man, for like the first episode of the Dark Hero arc, which I thought was kind of bizarre, man. Like there was a couple parts of the episode that they were dimming it when I feel like they really didn't need to. That I thought was a little bizarre, but whatever. Anyway, we begin the fight. Shigaraki uses the decay on the floor to go after the villains, but of course it's breaking off. We have some blocks coming out of the floor that also come out right where Shigaraki's standing, throwing them into the electrical field. We also do get the onomatopoeias, which you guys know. I always love them when they make an appearance in the anime, man. Like I said, I wish they would appear more often than they do, but it's always good when they do appear. So then we see Best Genius working his white wires, taking on against Shigaraki. We finally get to see the full thing of Jason Yao? I believe that's how you say his name. I might be wrong on that one. His cut. We saw bits of this in the trailer, man, and the full cut, man, looks absolutely fantastic, man. The animation here was spectacular. So he mentions that he figures out that they're blocking up these floors in the floor, or they're having these blocks on the floor to stop his decay from spraying. And of course, as the fight progresses onward, he tells President, like, hey man, if you keep doing, or not President, my Best Genius, if you keep doing this, you're gonna lose your precious stage. And then we find that, and the beast is like, oh no, don't worry, bro, we got plenty of materials. And we see like extra blocks come from underneath the floor to cover up the opening, so that they always have like some good footing in case there's not just giant holes in the wall in the floor that will just send people to their deaths. So then Best Genius basically explains how Coffin in the Sky came to be. It was more or less Mei Hatsumi's idea. We also get to see how this thing kind of works, which is pretty cool, where we see that we have the guy with the helmet thing from the support course mentioning plate F10385 and G1045 have been damaged, and then you have Cementoff saying he's going to go in there and replace them. And it was kind of cool just to see how the inner workings of this place work. It was pretty cool to see. And then we actually get to see Momo. She's also building some materials. And actually, if you pay attention to the background, you get to see the robot that was like the cafeteria chef dude from UA, which I'm pretty sure we haven't seen him since season 1. I could be wrong on that one, man. He might have made it like a slight cameo in the background in seasons 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know, or season 5 maybe. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure this might be the first we see C5. You can actually see him like putting food on the tail behind. You see like a chocolate cake. You see what looks to be like some chocolate fudge thing or like something, or maybe this is part of the chocolate cake, and bringing in a shit ton of fried rice. This is a meal befitting of Goku, you know. Which, as you guys remember, Momo has to eat shit in order for her quirk to work. So I thought this was a nice little thing about like, oh yeah, you got remember back in like season 2 or season 3 when she was training and she was eating a ton of food, a bunch of sugars that like Sato had made. So I thought this was kind of cool that they made that Horikoshi made sure to put like a bunch of food in the background and like bringing it. I thought it was a nice little touch. I thought that was a nice little attention to detail right there. I thought that was pretty cool. So it continues onward as we see more flashbacks to, of course, what we saw with Mihatsumi a couple episodes ago, as well as some new footage there of like of Cementos building like this barrier, and like it took a lot. Mentioned that it took a lot of energy and movement for it to work, and then the electromagnetic barrier, which we find out that it seemingly is powered exclusively by Kaminari. To be fair, we see Manga from Class B and 2 other randos that I'm assuming from Class B as well. I do not know who these 2 are, man. So, if you guys remember who they are, please tell them in the comments. Which, I do wonder how this thing works without Kaminari going full retard. Because you guys know, every time you use wherever you use 1.3 million bullets, man would always go full retard. So, I don't know how this machine worked without him doing it, but hey, it's working and it looked pretty cool, I have to say. Well, this man basically is going Super Saiyan to power this barrier. And then once again, we see like a bunch of heroes. We see Bako facing off against Todoroki or Shigaraki. We see Mirko finally get in there, man. Once again, like I said before, the animation here is fantastic. Mirko managed to get a couple kicks in there, man. And Shigaraki tries to use a shockwave, but we find out that Monoma is now copying Aizawa's quirk and is using his erasure quirk. And of course, therefore, this man is laughing maniacally, man. Like I said, he is taking every last second he can get out of this to being the protagonist, man. He is clinging on this for his life, man. And you know what? Good for him, man. I think it's about time he got his moment in the sun, man. Like I said, I cannot wait to see how Austin portrays this, man. It's gonna be so fucking funny. And for some reason, and I also find that, Monoma gets a chair, yet Aizawa doesn't. Why doesn't Aizawa doesn't get a chair? Did you guys not have another spare chair around there for at least let this man? The man is injured, for God's sakes, man. He's lost an eye. He's lost a leg, man. The least you could do is give him a chair rather than having him take a knee, bruh. But although I thought this was interesting that they mentioned this, as Monoma says going on saying you don't like me, you don't like Erasure, right, Mr. Last Boss. Where Aizawa mentions that Monoma's using his copy paste, that you can use copy paste, and his limit can copy paste his limit of 5 minutes. So it seems like he can only use this for like 5 minutes before the quirk is deactivated, or maybe it's like it deactivates after 5 minutes, but because he's in close proximity with Aizawa, the limit isn't there, or they'll stop for like maybe a second, but then it's back on. I'm assuming it's how it's worked, or something along those lines. But anyways, the fight continues on. Mirko's fighting him, and then we finally get to see, Shigaraki's finger thing. I don't know what this move is called, finger thing, and then that is where the episode ends. And I also really like the shot of Shigaraki right before the episode ends there with his, you can see his eye. But yeah, that is the end of the episode, man. We get the next episode preview. We see more of his fingers, the full CGI fingers, man. They look really good. And yeah, man, we also get to see, we know that we're going to see some of the Toga and Izuku fight next week as well, which I'm super excited. You bet your ass it's going to be a reaction, man, because I'm sure it's going to be a great fight. But yeah, man, that is the end of the episode, man. Another fantastic episode for Season 6, man. Or Season 7, I should say, excuse me. And yeah, man, I've gone on long enough. Hopefully this review will be shorter than last week, because you guys know the unedited footage from last week's episode was like almost 40 minutes. I was like, oh god, I gotta edit this down. But yeah, man. Anyway, overall, my final review for this episode is going to be a 9.5 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You like the video, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on social if you like it. Link subscribe below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.